Because I remember I was like as an intern, and as a first year staff, like going through and doing like I knew databases, I knew networking, and I knew like, okay, unique keys. And it was like, okay, yeah. And I would tell the me like, oh, old, let me show you how to do this.
Okay.
And then now it's like, now I'm the old.
Welcome back to dearCC, human advice for the AI age. I'm Clara, but you can call me CC, and I'm here today with two amazing guests to talk about accounting. We have Matlock, who is the Chief Accounting Officer of Benchling, and we have Noah, who just started his own accounting consultancy after spending 2 years at PwC. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Gen Z can actually teach us so much.
I think like Gen Z, like what the asset they have is time, right? Time to tinker with these tools, like figure stuff out on their own, versus a lot of people right now are, spending a lot of time working and don't have the same time to be able to like learn these tools and figure it out for themselves.
Sure. And you also don't have the baggage of knowing how it's been or supposed to be.
Totally.
Right.
Because all that's going out the door.
Yeah, I actually think that's one of like the big strengths is like, you're not burdened by, legacy. You're not burdened by it. Yeah, it's just like unbridled sort of curiosity. The longer I think organizations exist and the longer that people are at organizations, then you just sort of get ingrained into the process.
It's the power of the beginner's mind and why the future will always be owned by young people like you. Okay, let's hear your stories. Let's start with you.
Sure.
How did you get into accounting? Was that your dream from childhood?
No. I mean, if we go way back, my dream was to be a school bus driver, but because I like the lights. But fast forward, like I was pre-med coming into college and then got to college and I was like, oh, I don't know that I want to be in class all the time. And I don't want to go to school for another like 8 years. I kind of bounced around a little bit. And so went from there to the business school, didn't really fit with a lot of the classes. And I went to like international relations for a semester and that didn't fit. And then but I kind of stayed in the business school because I was like, okay, this is kind of a good place to be. And then took managerial accounting, like super manufacturing accounting. It was the class I think I got the highest grade in my entire college career. And I was like, oh, okay, like this seems like it fits. Like I should maybe do some more of this. And then at the same time, I had a friend of mine who her dad was a partner at KPMG and he was an audit partner. I was like, okay, well, maybe I should just do that. And then literally that was it. So I then like scrambled to go do an internship and then found my way into an internship and then now I'm here.
I love that story. And thank you for being so authentic and open about your actual process, because I hear from that, one, that it's okay to not know exactly what you want to do. And two, there's a lot of value in exploring, because only by actually trying the different classes, actually talking to people, do you actually figure out what you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've kind of gone all over the place. And I think that's one of the things that has made me personally stronger and me career stronger is like adaptability. Just, try things, be adaptable, and you're going to come out the other side. And I think that is really super relevant, today for just starting out.
I love that so much. And this has been a recurring theme in other episodes. We did an episode on marketing where the chief marketing officer, she started her career as a lawyer. And so I think sometimes we prematurely think that we're fixed into a certain track, especially given all this pressure and what's going on in the economy, when in fact, that's all part of the process. And some of the strongest, most impressive leaders that are out there, like you're so good because you have that breadth of experience.
Yeah, but it's scary. What if I have to reset and it's going to set me back? And then there's the peer comparison. Like, oh, my peers, like they're so far ahead of me. And it's you. And I think, I could say this because now I'm the old me, it's like, don't worry about it. You got time. But when you're in the moment, it's like it's super scary.
So I want to hear your story. So you graduated when?
I graduated in 2023 with a degree, bachelor's of accounting, accountancy.
How did you know you wanted to go into accounting?
I knew I wanted to go somewhere in business. Didn't know exactly what it was going to be, whether it was finance, real estate, accounting. But I attended an accounting fair, and I felt like it was a very straightforward career path. I think there was a lot of opportunity. You can get yourself a credential, and if you get yourself a credential, maybe that opens up the door for other possibilities.
I like this because it's this Japanese principle of ikigai, where it's what you're good at and what the world needs, and that intersection all coming together and then going for it. Okay, so you graduate, and then what happens?
So I graduated. I had previously done an internship at Udemy in their accounting department. I think what I wanted to do was gain the most experience possible in the accounting realm. And so, every accountant, when they want to gain the most experience, the path is that you should go to the Big Four, because that's like the golden standard, right? And so I ended up applying for PwC, and I got the PwC job.
And so just for people who don't know, the Big Four accounting firms are PwC, Ernst Young or EY, KPMG, and Deloitte.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's traditionally that's where you started your career, right? Is it EY?
EY,
Yeah.
And then, I worked there for 2 years, and I ended up getting my CPA while I was working there. And, I learned a lot of skills, gained a lot of experience, because you're kind of thrown into this, these clients. It's almost a little bit of everybody for themselves when you're first starting out. And I think they do provide a lot of good education, but I think it's important to learn how to be proactive and become a professional. And I think, having gained those skills, I feel, really empowered to make my move to the next step. I felt like at PwC, I was like, in my role, I was kind of maintaining. I wasn't necessarily building something new. I think in bigger firms that have their certain ways of doing things, it's kind of hard to say, hey, maybe we should do it like this, when for the past 50 years they've done it like a completely opposite way. There was one AI tool I was using, and it was called Alteryx, and I felt like I was trying to get the general ledger data to go into our
like the analytics tool.
Yeah, basically. I was trying to figure it out, as tinkering over and over, and I just I think when I tried to implement in the team, there was so much like upskilling that needed to be done for the team to understand how this is actually working and how we can trust it. The adaptability to be able to learn these new tools is such a high upskill that it was sometimes hard to get people to adopt these new practices. After 2 years at PwC, I wanted to move on and start my own. I started my own startup, and it's called Obsidian Vantage. And I'm looking for accounting firms where I can bring AI to and help them improve their workflows, improve their efficiencies. So I'm looking for small local firms around San Mateo. I've been reaching out for a while, but I'm also working with some small businesses, building workflows for them, automating some of their workflows.
So you're kind of consulting
and implementation. Yeah.
That's great. So let's talk about some of those AI tools. I'm curious, what have you done here? I've heard great things, but would love the specifics. And how did you start on that journey?
We just got Cowork, and I'm like looking at Cowork, and I'm, what do I even ask you to do? Cowork. And so, but you just start somewhere. One of the things I found is really important is just carving out time and making time for the team to do just that. Because then it's like there's room to do trial and error. There's room to fudge around. And if it doesn't work, fine. But you've got some room to maneuver. And then the other one, and especially it's really early, it's especially in the beginning, is just enablement. Like what should I even start with? And so we had someone come in and talk about, she was the former controller at OpenAI, and she was like, this is how you sort of write a Python script. And so now we have like we have a senior accountant. She was at EY for 2 or 3 years, and then she came here, and she just like jumped in, and she was like, oh yeah, so I just wrote a Python script, and there's this report and this report and this report. Before we used to do a VLOOKUP, but I was like, I got VLOOKUP, like I'm born on VLOOKUP, and it's like to enrich this, and then but I just have it do this, and then I run it, and now it takes like 20 minutes. okay, but I could totally sympathize like on the Big Four side, because it's just, there's just way more process, way more just structure, especially like the bigger accounting firms. But it then is really hard because you're like, hey, I have this idea. And to get it, it's like, no, you can't, because there's a reason why.
Right.
But it's sort of demotivating, because then you're like, okay, well, I have this great idea.
I spend 4-8 hours a day, like just trying to learn these tools. There's never going to be a time when, I feel like I'm 100% like, oh, I know everything. Like, I think it's how fast this technology is moving. I think, you're never going to be 100% on top of everything. And I think you have to realize that that's okay.
I just say one of the neat things too is that the AI itself is actually quite good at teaching.
Yeah.
And knows what you already know. And if you have a trusted enterprise version and you're not worried about the data leaking, you can actually be quite open with Claude Cowork and with ChatGPT, et cetera. And it kind of grows with you.
I think that's something really important. Just to level set is like, especially as you're sort of going out and job hunting, there's no expectation that you know everything.
Yeah.
Because no one knows everything.
Right.
And especially right now.
AI. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I built the AI products at Meta and Salesforce, and even our team doesn't know.
Yeah. But I think what is important and what does get you hired, I think, is the hunger.
Yeah.
Because I can I look at it's like, I can teach you accounting. Like, I can teach you the debits and credits. I can give you AI tools, and I can create space for you to tinker with the AI tools. But I can't teach you hunger.
Right.
I can't teach you intellectual curiosity.
Right.
And I can't teach you like reliability and drive and grit. And that is what I want. And so if I hear that you built this workflow automation for a CPA firm and it helped them do XYZ, like, okay, like that's pretty cool.
It's great that you're empowering your current team that you've already hired, maybe pre-AI, giving them the space, giving them the tools to do this. For open roles that you must have so many applicants. I'd love to know from you if you've seen an increase in the number of applicants per role. And then how are you actually differentiating and figuring out who gets an initial screen, who gets invited in for an interview, who actually do you select?
I'm laughing because it's ironic, because I think AI is helping people apply for a lot of roles, but it's like I was hiring for a business systems role, someone to help run financial systems for us. Right? So there's a lot of volume. You got to cut through the noise. Think about what are the characteristics that you think the employer wants,
right?
Or really needs, and you got to really think about it.
Does it differ by employer?
Totally,
in the accounting 100%.
Department?
Can you give me some different examples?
I used to be the CEO at Toast, and so we have a big fintech business, and so someone that has that has experience in fintech and banking, funds flow, that's familiar with a lot of that, would break through, and I want to know more about that person. And maybe it's something like this person will run through walls to get the door to get the objective. Okay, then I don't know that I care as much about that. You have banking experience and you're coming to an enterprise SaaS platform, but you have to help me understand that.
Right.
And so it's being really, really thoughtful about like, what are the examples that I'm going to give? Like, and I'm going to put in the resume that bring that to life. And it takes a lot of work to really distill it down and make it jump out.
But just now you said there's a lot of resume slop that you're getting.
Yeah.
People are clearly using AI to generate their cover letters, etc. Are you even reading all of them, or are you actually using AI to sift through the slop?
Both. I will read the resume, but first it's sort of what jumps out to me is like LinkedIn. It's like, okay, what's the LinkedIn? Okay, I want to explore a little bit more, and then I'll look at the resume, and then I will scan the resume because I don't have a lot of time to read all the way through, but I will look at like the examples that pop out. And if it's not going to pop out, if it doesn't pop out, that person has run the risk of me not spending the time or the effort to go. And I take that risk too, because I probably have missed out on really great candidates because of that. We have this tool called Ashby that's actually pretty good, and it helps sort of distill down LinkedIn, sort of the resume, and it sort of will push that up against the job description and help surface things to me, because there's a ton of people,
Right.
There's a lot of roles, and so and some people, bots are applying for roles.
Does that resonate with you in the job searches you've done in the past and your
Yeah.
contemporaries?
I have one buddy who had a master's degree from Cal Poly, and he's looking for a job for a year. I think, to his point, like, how do you show the hunger? How do you show the interest? And how do you cut through the noise? Maybe reach out on LinkedIn, or I know some people send like handwritten notes. I think that can go a long way, because it's not as easy as just, using ChatGPT to make a resume. Sometimes you can't communicate hunger or drive in a resume.
I think occasionally people can
Yeah.
stand out that way,
Mhm.
but by and large, there's just too many applicants, to your
Yeah.
point.
I mean, I think like it's a little cliche, but I think it's the networking is a big one, and I think that again, sort of all the things that are old are new again. I think networking is super important. Like, that's how I found this job. But that really helps you sort of cut through the noise
Right.
a little, because then it's like, okay, here's this applicant or here's this referral. But like, referral is just a different way to talk about networking.
And you never know. I mean, it could
Yeah.
be anywhere. It could
Yeah.
be on BART. It could be
Right.
at a Starbucks. When I came out west for college,
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody in tech. And if you could just strike up a conversation, you really never know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really hard though. Like, I hate small talk. It's draining, and you're like, okay, feedback to me. But it's like, it's an art, and but that's served me really, really well. And it's a small world, right?
Yes.
Like, when we just
Right.
sat down, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you know her, she knows my boss, like, and here we are. And I think the other thing that I have learned over time, I don't know if you have this experience, is the analogy of like, relationships are like a bank account. Having built up that bank account, just, to extend the metaphor, pays lots of dividends. Because then you get that, or you can ask for that introduction.
I think that speaks to one of my theses, which is the importance of almost like sales skills and relationship skills.
Ugh.
And you always have something to offer. It could be,
Right.
we started this conversation talking about how much people like us can learn from young people. And so I really think that's a good insight.
I haven't had as much experience to have as developed network as you guys. For example, when I was first starting my startup, I was reaching out to people at Udemy that I had worked with before. How often do you reach out to people in your network?
So I'll tell
How do you
you,
do?
like,
Yeah.
honestly, when I was in public account, like, I was at EY for a long time, and because I never thought I was going to go anywhere. And so I just didn't really do a lot of networking. And then when I got out, and I was like, oh, I should really do some networking.
And there are a lot of people want to help, especially if they've been in the workforce for a long time. And there's a ambitious young person who comes in a sincere way. I've been the beneficiary of a lot of that.
Whether you're doing bank account developing or whether you're interviewing, trying to get a job, authenticity cuts through all sorts of noise. And part of authenticity is that sincerity, and you don't have to have like the big, so what do you think about international politics today? Like, what do you think about the Taiwan-China issue? Something that's really sincere and authentic and relevant to you. And then, you will start a conversation about that. And that's all that networking is.
But I think something you're doing which is really powerful, is that you're giving something concrete for people to react to. I think what's kind of annoying sometimes is if someone comes and is like, can I pick your brain? It's like, okay, on what? And it's super high level. And you're like, just talk to Claude or ask ChatGPT why you're coming to me.
Like, I don't know.
But if you're building something or doing something to show,
Right.
then that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because now I can learn from it. And doubly so if it's related to something that you've done your homework on us, and you know that we're uniquely qualified to give advice on.
Totally. Like, and that comes out in interviewing and all sorts of other circumstances where it's like, what do you think about the Volkswagen Beetle? And it's like, I don't know. I don't really have a strongly formed opinion on the Volkswagen Beetle. I'm not that invested, but hey, what do you think? I'm trying to I'm doing this project on workflow automation. And I heard your team is working on that.
Right.
Where does your team really get hung up?
And it doesn't even feel like networking. It's a value exchange.
Right.
And it's depositing in the bank account.
Yeah.
So actually that's a great segue. Let's talk about some of this workflow automation that you're doing.
Okay.
Because you have this great reputation as this leader that's transformed your accounting department with AI.
Transforming in process. So it's like, okay, I have these 3 reports and I got to put them together. And it used to take me 8 hours. Now it's 45 minutes or 5 minutes because I Python scripted it.
So you prioritize based on pain reduction.
Sort of, yeah. And it's it's I don't want to VLOOKUP reports every month. That's not fun. But the other thing too that I would say to leaders out there is you got to build momentum. And so it's you can't just start with giant transformation. It's build momentum, some quick wins. Because it's motivating. You get excited. It's oh, I did this thing and now I want to do more. It's off of itself. So now I've got people our collections manager used to put together the smart sheet on collections. And so now she dumped it all into Claude and has tinkered with it. And now there's a Claude dashboard that we go through every Friday on cash collections. And then she reached out to one of our software providers and she's like, it'd be really great if there was an MCP server for this. And she's like, oh yeah, there is an MCP server. So now we have an MCP server connected for the AR thing. And so that's the ground. Now we're cooking. We've got some quick wins, and people are excited about it. And so this year, what we've done is we've said, okay, we're going to take 6 processes across the organization or across finance. If we were designing it from scratch, we're going to come in here and whiteboard what would we design it for now, and we're just going to build it for today. And we're going to create space to, after we whiteboard it and we come up with requirements, the leader is going to take that and then hands on keyboards. This is what AI is typing there. And then the rest of the team will sort of fill around that person, sort of pick up some of the work around that person so that person can focus on it. Then we're going to do that for a month. And then we're going to have someone test and sort of validate it.
Wow.
And then the 3rd month, we're going to deploy it. And I've said, my goal is to do 6. And if we deploy 3, I'm happy because I know that we're going to it's not going to work or it may not work in time. And so, but I don't want that failure piece to get in the way. I want us to fail because there's value in the failure and that value in the learning.
This is incredible because with all due respect to you accountants, usually inside of companies, it's the research and development teams that are agile and innovating. But you're doing that within accounting and finance.
Yeah. And the other thing that is really cool, because I got here, when I came a year ago, I was like, okay, we got to shorten the close for, from 16 days to 9. And the team gave some very candid feedback about whoa. And whoa, slow your roll. And they came back. And so, but we did it. We got to 10 days, which was awesome. And because the team leaned in and they were like, okay, we can do hard things. We did hard things and we're going to try. And that's where I get back to, it's not about the code and it's not about it's the grit. It's the hunger. It's the drive. You have to create the space. You have to create
the culture
to where it's okay if we fail.
You don't usually hear that from an accounting leader.
Yeah, but it's you have to. It's just sort of common sense. You can't, otherwise you'll never get anywhere. It's the fear of failure. You can't have the fear there. So yeah, and I think especially in accounting, and I told this to my team at Toast. And I told this when I first got here is one of the loneliest places, the most dangerous places you can be in finance is on an island. And often you're on an island because you're scared. And it's you want to be in a place where it's okay, well, we're going to do this together. And
that has been the best finance partners I've worked with.
Yeah. It's we're going to do this together. We're going to lock arms, and we're going to achieve together. We may fail together, but we'll be together. And that is, I think you really need that. And especially when there's a ton of change, when, you have no idea what the answer is because,
because no one does. This is an incredible insight that every department, including the accounting department, needs to become an innovation department.
Yeah.
And it just changes the complete leadership model, the hiring model, the training model.
Yeah.
Just really, really inspiring. So now I want to talk about you. You're working with a bunch of CPA firms. What are the workflows that you're helping them with to use AI?
I've been working with some small businesses. I've been doing some like RAG databases where you have like a customer support agent that responds to customer support with, based on the company's FAQs and also based on past emails. So it saves time of we're having like versus having somebody be hired to just write emails all day and hire an employee to get upskilled, one, and then two, like, the employee could quit or it could go away. I mean, so the employee could go away or it could take a lot of time to upskill the employee. And so I think that's a lot of saved time is, and it is like, to his point, like it is like when I first implemented it, it was like, it wasn't responding to the tone or wasn't responding to, so I think it's like keep failing and just tinkering with it. And I mean, it's still the customer service agent hasn't been to the point where like it's responding to perfect emails every single time.
So you're not even limiting yourself to accounting. You're just
Well,
out there kind of hustling and getting on clients
whatever I
and
can
whatever
get.
they need.
I think,
which is great.
I probably want to go into accounting though, because that's where like I can be like, hey, like I'm a CPA, like I had this problem when I was working at Big Four. Maybe I could help you. I think that's where my biggest fit is. But I'm open to any opportunity and like where I can create the most value.
That's a huge takeaway. To be opportunistic, like to have a clear conviction around what you want to do, but you're not sitting around waiting for the perfect accounting client to come.
Right.
You keep looking for it. And in the meantime, you're learning.
Yeah.
And you're earning.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like we were just on a call yesterday with Clarity that do so it's an AI tool provider. They do contract review. And so they started doing like contract review for legal, and they did like revenue. And they built this tool, which was like, oh, we need to do workflows. And they figured out, oh, well, people really like the workflow thing, so we're just going to do that. You're going to adapt and go where the thing is. Like, do that. Do more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things for me, especially reaching out to like CPA firms, is like, hey, like I have this, idea where it's like, oh, I'm going to bring AI to your CPA firm. My question is for you, like, how are you getting people to trust like that, like the AI gave the right answer? Sure. Because I think a lot of people are going to be skeptical, like, I don't really want to bring AI into like this practice when it's like heavily regulated. If you make a wrong mistake, you're kind of on the hook.
Because I think that's one thing I've learned, like personally about AI is a magnifier. It's gonna magnify your productivity. It's gonna magnify the good that you can do, but it's gonna magnify the other side as well. If if I put like slop, if I write something and I don't totally understand it, and it's not like I've embedded it and then I send it out, the AI is not gonna get fired or look bad. It's me. So you gotta but it helps you boost your productivity. And so I think being really mindful about AI in that regard, I think is really important, which gets to trust.
Right.
And so, that's what CPAs are about. That's what accounting firms are about. And so I think like we don't have honestly the answer right now. I think that is what we're trying to, as we do this transformation project, is one of the things that we really want to make sure is like, how do we, if we build this process and say, okay, agent, calculate prepaids, go into the email box, grab the invoice, calculate a prepaid schedule, do the thing. How do we make sure to build a step in there where the human can come in and check it?
Right.
Or build another bot that maybe checks it. And it gives the human the output. And so it's being really thoughtful about how you build those checks in
process.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail.
It's
Yeah.
probably the number one area in AI right now is observability and monitoring and having evaluations
Mhm.
Right.
to make sure that the outputs can be trusted.
Yeah. 100%.
And then to both of your points, it goes back to what are the inputs? What is the context engineering that you're putting in? Because usually if there's an issue, it's in that first step.
Okay, how do you know that it's right? Like that, garbage in, garbage out. That, like I learned that in college. And so it's now just a different tool in the middle.
Yes and no. I think there's similarities, but the difference with LLMs, as you both know, is that they're probabilistic, not deterministic. In Excel, there's a formula. Every time I put in an input, I get the same output.
Right.
With an LLM, every time I put in the same input, it could get something different.
Yeah. I mean, I think, right, like when I was talking to people at Udemy, they said like the AI, they would trust the AI to do a junior accountant's work, but they would never trust it to do a manager's work, right? Because there's so much like more context that, you don't really know what the AI is thinking. And so I think having AI have like a set of guidelines that it's not necessarily like making a bunch of decisions that it could, depending on what time of day you ask it, it's going to make a decision clearly opposite direction. So I think trusting it to only do like some certain things rather than trusting it to do like a very broad ask.
Yeah. Well, that's the value that where you're going to come in, is like you're going to bring you will bring the context, you will bring sort of the judgment element. And so I think as you think about how do I develop myself, what skills do I want that are going to be relevant on this side, it's like, okay, I'm really good at context. I'm really good at judgment and risk. Like, okay, this is a good place for this. I shouldn't use that here. And then, okay, how do I take that and then again, put sort of examples around that? Like, I think your example, like I built an agent to help CPA firms automate X, Y, and Z. And then I was able to coach them on these are the right places to deploy AI, the wrong place to deploy it, and where you do it, because I know trust is really important to you.
Right.
Not only to develop the thing, but then the thing to check the thing.
Yeah.
And if I heard that from like a 23-year-old,
Hired.
like, oh my God, like number one, hired. Number two, I'm glad I'm not interviewing. It's a 23-year-old right now. Like,
yeah, this generation is so impressive. You're so impressive.
Yeah.
I want to go back to where both of you started your careers, because you both got a lot of your training initially at Big Four. You were at EY for
a million
years. You were at PwC. I recently got these stats that the Big Four, their job postings for entry-level jobs is down 44% from 2 years ago. And in addition to that, PwC further announced that they plan to hire a third fewer entry-level roles next year. Are you surprised by this? And what does this mean for the kids who are graduating from college today wanting to go into accounting? What should they do?
Possibly the career path that, people have followed for in the past isn't going to be the exact same. And so I think finding opportunities that kind of the less like beaten path is going to be huge. And just, going for it, it could be the wrong opportunity, but, once you get a wrong opportunity, now you have more context to make a different decision further down the line. And I think if you're getting rejected from one of those firms, I think you can't take it personally. You can't get discouraged about there's no opportunities out there for me, because I think AI is, it's a huge opportunity. So that's
reframing a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah.
What do you think is going on?
Well, I think the Big Four model has changed, right? It used to be sort of just this giant pyramid. And I think what is happening is you don't need that giant base of the pyramid because of AI. AI can do a lot more. I don't know how the big four is dealing with this, but I think what's that base, rather than just being at the bottom of the pyramid like this, sort of like the ends are getting hacked off, and it's no longer just accountants, just with technical accounting knowledge, but now it's like you need that, but you need technologists. And so I think that is and so what that means from someone in college about to graduate or recently graduated is it's like that skill set has changed. We will always need accountants. Accounting is not going anywhere. And you need that technical piece, but you need the technologist piece as well. And so it's how do you get that, how do you get that experience? And I think for all the college folks that are out there, I think that's really super important. I think for you developing those skills, and like, I'm really good at data, like Alteryx, you mentioned. Okay, I know how to capture data. I know how to structure it. I know how to run it through. I think you're right. Like the path once trodden, I think is quickly becoming not the path. There's a lot of accounting firms out there. There's a lot of CPA firms out there that are not the big four. There's a lot, and they can be mid-tier, they can be local. They all need that help, and you can get that experience there as well.
This is great insight. I mean, just if you're going to turn the accounting department into an innovation department, then every accountant that you hire, entry level or not, has to be an innovator and a technologist, in addition to understanding general ledger. We used to be able to count on EY, Deloitte, PwC, KPMG. Now they're hiring literally just a fraction of the roles they did a few years ago. And so going local, joining a startup, joining a local CPA firm, those are all options. Starting your own business, just being scrappier, I guess. Which tools should people be signing up for? How can they learn what they need to know?
For me, I started on N8N.
What is that?
What's that?
It's like a workflow automation tool. So
Okay.
you can kind of see.
Got it. Okay.
But now I'm trying to transition more to like Claude and Claude MCP, connecting to different tools from Claude through prompts. But I like N8N because of how visual it is, and like I can see what node is failing, or like what it's actually the AI is actually doing, and like the trust aspect of how I know like this is correct.
This piece is like super important, like visibility, transparency.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like when we were starting our careers, you had to know accounting or marketing or sales, but also know how to use the internet.
Right.
And so now you need to know how to be a really good prompt engineer. You probably need some Python for certain roles. Even if you're not generating it, you can check it. And maybe some of these industry specific tools.
Well, we use NetSuite, and so the team didn't really know how to use NetSuite, report writers, or there's only a few people who did. And then we got Claude, and then they asked Claude, how do I write this report in NetSuite? And then they were like, we've been using this report, it's never gotten us what we need, and we just fixed it. And it's like gold.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And if you're in college or recently graduated, go volunteer for a local nonprofit that's using NetSuite. And get that skill plus the AI, and then Matlock will hire you. Or Noah will.
Noah's growth rate. Noah's growth rate. He's gonna have a whole team of developers, and then he'll merge with one of the big four, and we'll know the N in EYN.
Well, as we approach the close, I also want to switch gears, and just for having fun with this too, is there a way that AI has transformed your personal life? And if so, would you share?
I'll answer that in two ways. One, so I have on the personal side, I subscribe to ChatGPT. And so I have created a thread called Coach GPT, who I do a lot of road biking. And so I'll give it my stats, and it'll tell me I'm doing this well and I'm doing that poorly.
Awesome.
And I give it, when I go to the gym, my stats, and it's like, okay, well, you're doing this and you should focus on this and not that, which has been great. And it's been really helpful.
Yeah, that resonates. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've used it to diagnose sicknesses.
Dr. GPT.
Yeah, Dr. GPT. although I think like early in my business, I was asking it to like draft like a plan about how I would, you know, grow as a company in like 2-3 years. And I think a lot of times you got to be careful, because I think these tools sometimes can be biased towards what the user wants to hear.
Everything is a great idea.
Everything is a great idea. And when I was first doing my business, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're going to be the McKinsey for accounting." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That sounds
That
great."
sounds great.
And then a month later, I was like, "Wait, this is really hard. I don't know if I can." So I think treating everything with a grain of salt and saying like prompting it, say like, just give me the facts.
Just
Don't
treat the facts.
sugarcoat anything.
Totally.
So
Yeah, my
yeah,
favorite
that's-
is criticize every aspect of this plan and why it won't work.
Yeah.
Matlock, Noah, thank you so much for your insights. It's so great to talk to you and learn
Yeah.
from you.
Thank you.